Hi, you're listening to Cafe 20s. I'm Anki.
I'm Charmaine.
And I'm Flo.
And this is a podcast about being in your 20s. It's okay not to have everything figured out, but we can explore it together. Today we're going to be talking about the first days of work. How do I prepare for my first day? If my first day window has passed, how can I make an impression? What if my first day is virtual? These are some of the questions that we dive into in this episode today.
Part 1. Rituals.
We've all experienced first days. Do you guys remember how you felt on that day? Maybe Charmaine, you can start us off.
I remember the night before starting any first job, and particularly that one, I would be quite restless and nervous, and I just wouldn't know what to expect. But I just remember on my first day, I was a bit overwhelmed, and I was sort of left to my own devices by my manager. And when I introduced myself to my desk neighbors, back when we still had desk neighbors because it was pre-COVID, I introduced myself to my neighbor, and then she just said, "Oh, hi." And then she just went back to doing work, and I was really traumatized. So I didn't really introduce myself to the other team members after that. Yeah.
You can see how that could be pretty traumatizing.
Yeah.
I was also very nervous that day. And one of the habits that I have is in the morning when I wake up, I'll feel nervous, right? So I'll get onto Spotify and then I'll just play happy songs and then I'll sing along to them so that I'll feel less nervous. So that's what I did on my first day.
That's really cute. I think it's really important to develop a pre-first day ritual.
Yeah.
So for mine, I started this when I began my first internship because I had no idea what an office environment is like. So I rewatched The Office. But
did I stutter? Speaking of rituals, rituals are something that help you feel comfortable in your own skin, right? And in the new environment. So that's one of the key things that I think helps me to make a good impression, to bring myself to the environment I'm in. And so to create that feeling, I think that there are a couple of things that I usually put quite a big emphasis on. So the first thing is to be prepared, which I think we'll talk about again later. The second thing is to bring a notebook, pen, and your phone wherever you go. I remember on my first day, my manager was like, "Let's go to a meeting." And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "Do you not have a phone or anything to take notes on?" And I was like, "I did, but yeah, you walked really quickly, so I just followed you." So that's a key thing. And then the other thing is to have an outfit that boosts your confidence. So when on my first day, I usually like to wear more kind of formal end of business casual, but that usually depends on your company, of course. I have this outfit that I like to wear with a white blouse and belted flowy pants and pink heels, which I think
I've
has been
noticed.
seen quite a few times.
They
has
look
made
great.
its debut. But I think the most important thing in my combination is pearl earrings and also my lucky underwear, which has worked every time. So I've worn it. So I feel like nothing can go wrong that day.
Cool.
Part 2. Preparation.
Let's say there's this hypothetical person, say Jamie, gender neutral, who just graduated and they already got an offer. And let's say they're a week away from starting. What are some of the advice we can give to Jamie on how to prepare before their first day?
Jamie, do your research. I know it's obvious, but I've seen some people who don't do it. So just do it.
Yeah. And just a note that even though maybe it's weird to know too much about your manager, sometimes there's also an expectation to know kind of what they've done, because you don't want to go to a manager and think that they're their second year in their role when they've been there for 6 years. So that's another thing to know as well. But the second thing is communicate with your manager before joining.
And I think just to add a disclaimer, if let's say you can't schedule a meeting before you join, I think don't sweat it, right? Because your manager must be very busy and maybe you're not part of their
circle of concern
exactly
at the moment.
Yeah, so don't sweat it. It's not a big deal because you still have a lot of time for you to actually, show yourself that you're interested and you're very excited about this whole role.
And the third thing is to set easy, achievable goals for your first day. And it can be as simple as saying hi to 4 of your desk mates, teammates, or messaging them on Teams or Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope that is helpful for you, Jamie.
Jamie.
Part 3. Sustain.
Do you guys have any tips around how to sustain that good impression or rectify anything you didn't manage to do on your first day?
I think that one of the main things that's going to sustain your kind of good impression or rectify a bad impression that you've made is being gung-ho. And that just means like being just really overzealous and enthusiastic about everything. Like, I don't know if you watch Emily in Paris, and she was just like a crazy gung-ho lady. I was like, you're very hyperactive. But I think her attitude that she took was very good, and it's something very positive that spread.
Virtually, though, I guess just sound really nice in your emails. Try to let your personality come through a little bit. One really good thing that a colleague did recently to me was that she scheduled a meeting with me. Like, it wasn't really about anything. She was just like, I think we're going to be working a lot in the future, together a lot in the future. And I think it'd be good just to have a catch up, like a 30 minutes time just to get to know each other a little bit. And it was so good.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with both of you too. And especially if you're just starting out as a, entry level position. To be honest, I think attitude matters a lot more than how capable you are. Like, you can be super good at writing emails. You can be super good at making reports. But if, let's say, you're someone who just like brings the whole team down because you're a plum, like poor little old me, like nobody will really like you. And if people don't like you, I think it's very difficult for you to get things done in the future. Just don't forget about building the same quality of relationships with your peers and your team members. Just because, to be honest, like working sometimes may not be easy too. There'll be some bad days, and those are the days where you need a friend in the workplace.
I've had some jobs where I've been the only one in the team, and then other jobs where I've had a team. And I think that having a team was so fun, and it just made the experience so much more memorable. You have people who can understand exactly what you're going through, because sometimes your friends won't, because they won't know the ins and outs of what's going on in the organization as well. You spend a lot of time at work every day, so it's always good to have a good community around you who can laugh with you, hopefully not cry with you, be angry with you, whenever. Yeah, so shout out to you guys. You know who you are. Hopefully this episode brought you some comfort about the usually quite intimidating first day of work, rectifying any bad first days and even any virtual first days you might have coming up. Just take a deep breath, be comfortable with yourself, and remember to feel confident. If you have any questions or just want to engage with this episode, please feel free to slide into our DMs.
If you like this episode, let us know. We would love to know if you have any embarrassing first day at work memories or any good tips. You can comment this on our Instagram post for this episode and follow us for any updates. Our account is Cafe 20s Podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and see you in our next episode.
Bye!